So today's YouTube page is going to be more serious than just barbecue. This class or this YouTube page is going to be on how barbecue helps me deal with my me being diagnosed with major depression disorder. So if you know anybody that's diagnosed with major depression disorder, you might want them to watch this video and just get my perspective of what I deal with on a daily basis. That might be able to help them deal with their situation, or in my case, my wife asks every once in a while, how can she help, or what can she do for me, or what can she look out for, trigger points, or just a little bit of an insight of what I'm going through. So I thought I would give you guys a couple minutes of a perspective of what my day is like inside my head. So first of all, I was diagnosed with major depression disorder the first time in 1994. But prior to 1994, I already had attempted suicide 3 times. My first time, I was 10, and I tied the yellow handles from a hefty garbage bag around my neck and the bag over my head, and I went to sleep praying that I would never be up again. Unfortunately, I woke up the next day, and then I found out that plastic is porous, so it breathes a little bit. So that was the last time I tried it that way. The second time I tried was 12 or 13, and that time I did aspirin. Now this is the situation with aspirin, that I don't know who was watching over me, God, angels, but for some reason I didn't take the whole bottle. I took half a bottle, and I woke up again. So someone stopped me from doing what I thought was right, and they have another mission for me. So in 1994, I was married to a wonderful wife, and I was going through a lot of stuff in my head. When you have major depression disorder, one of my symptoms that I have is from the time I wake up to the time I either pass out or go to sleep, I constantly think about how I can kill myself. For instance, we live on a lake, and there has been times that I've looked at over 300 trees to see if there was a way I could hang myself. And it just so happens that the landscaping in our community, they make sure that there's no low-hanging branches or anything that you can reach to accomplish that goal. I'll show you later some of the trees in front of the house that I couldn't hang myself from there because there's no way to tie the noose to it. But every day I think of constantly different ways of doing it. Should I do it? How should I do it? Should I use a knife? Should I take more pills? Can I drink myself to death? Can I wreck my car? Should I go into a bad neighborhood and start some shit? Every day, all day, my head is spinning on finishing what should have been done a long time ago. And the reason why I say that is because from the time I started feeling this way, which was about 10, I believe that I should not be alive. I don't know why I am. I ask what my purpose is. I don't know. I go to church, I pray, no answers. But I do know that I'm surrounded by amazing friends, an amazing wife, family. Hey, you know, it is what it is. But my friends are my family and they're amazing. I have a small circle of people that I trust, less than 6 people that I trust more than anything in the world. And I have a group of friends that I would take a bullet for, not just because I'm suicidal, but because I love them that much. And I know that feeling how I feel, doing the things that I do, sometimes affects them. The one time I was in my 30s, and I was at my best friend's house, and I was staying there, and I had tied a belt around my neck so tight in a way that if someone would come into the room and remove my hand from the belt, it would cause them to strangle me even more. And in this process, I blew all the vessels in my face. There was blood coming out of my eyes. Every pore in my face was purple. And my friend told me, quote unquote, "Don't you ever do that shit in my house again." And I understood why that he said what he said, because he didn't want to be affected by it. He didn't want to clean up the mess. He didn't want to have that memory, nor should he. But you have to understand, in my head, it doesn't matter. I don't care about the effects or who I might hurt or how I'm hurting somebody that I'm close to. It's all about getting accomplished the goal in my head through thoughts that I have to do. Now, what I go through might be different than with some people. My major depressive disorder only affects me physically. I don't plan on hurting anybody else or physically. I don't, want to go out and just randomly stab somebody or kill somebody or anything like that. Now, if they fuck with me, that's a whole different ballgame. But I don't go out seeking that. I get up seeking how I can end me, myself. And it bothers me because I know there's things that I enjoy doing, I love doing. Believe me, I love hanging out with certain family members of my wife's family that I wish I was born into their family. I mean, what an amazing group of people that they are. Their kids are wonderful. The husband and wife are fantastic. And, my sister-in-laws are amazing. And again, it's nothing personal towards them. It's only personal towards me. Physically. Mentally is a whole different ballgame. I understand mentally those people, that might give a shit for a couple of days, couple weeks or whatever. It might affect them, whatever. But that's not what it's about. It's about getting the thoughts out of my head. Now, I am on medication, and in the last 2 years, I go see a doctor every 6 months to be reevaluated, and every 6 months, my medication doubles. Obviously, certain medications I had to be taken off of because I already hit the max of the medication, so they had to put me on new stuff so I can get a higher amount. But I really don't think that works a lot. It does calm me down at work. It does calm me down in certain situations, but it doesn't get rid of the thoughts in my head. Now, when I go to sleep, one of the ways that I deal with the voices in my head, the thoughts, the visions, I visualize hanging a lot. I know that's how I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die before the age of 50. I've seen it. Premonitions, whatever you want to call it. And I'm 47. I just turned 47 2 months ago, or a month ago. And one of the ways that I deal with getting rid of these thoughts while I'm sleeping is I literally sleep 18 inches to 24 inches away from a fan. I have a little box fan on my end table, and it blows to the side of my head. And when I'm sleeping, I focus on the vibrations of the fan. And normally, the vibrations calm me down. It soothes the thoughts in my head, puts it on pause, or more distant, instead of it being so loud in my head of I should do this at this time, I should do that, or I can see me doing this tomorrow, or I can see me doing this now, to more of an echo, so it's not as strong in my head. I always have tea. So, constantly, 24 hours a day, with the major depression disorder, all I do is feel overwhelmed with thoughts of hurting myself. That was one of my trophies, just fell on top of me. I think it broke. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. See? Voices in my head. Things pound me in the back of the head. That's all the same. So what I was getting at is how barbecue helps me deal with the major depression disorder is honestly, it's keeping my mind busy, thinking about the internal temperature, thinking about seasonings, sauces, doing research, practicing, trying to make it look better, presentations, skills levels, working on knife skills, working on you know, different flavors of wood, smoke, anything and everything that has to do with the cooking and food process. And like in the restaurant business, my last interview that I just did about 3.5 months ago, the manager asked me, you know, what days of the week do I prefer, what hours do I prefer to work, and I literally told her your busiest hours. I have to be busy. I'm not good at standing around and cleaning baseboards or scrubbing floors, or busy work doesn't do anything for me. One is I'm not physically able to get on the floor and scrub restaurant floors like I used to. Plus, I've been doing restaurant business for 25 years. That's the stuff rookies do. Give me your busiest hours. Why? Well, because it keeps the thoughts out of my head. It keeps me so focused on the task that I can't think of hurting myself. I have to be busy. Whenever I'm trying to sit at home and watch TV, or just relaxing, my head is still thinking about killing myself. My head is telling me, just get up and just walk in traffic, or, you know, go hang yourself, go take a walk and jump off of a pier, or go take a ride down to the Skyway Bridge and jump. All those things are in my head every day, all day. And it's super hard for me to focus on watching a movie. I love watching movies. I've sat at movie theaters for hours just watching movies because I love watching good, entertaining movies. Now, in the last 10 years, there hasn't been a really good freaking movie because the celebrities are all the same celebrities and they all suck ass. But that's a whole different story. But when I sit in my chair, there are times that I'm soaking wet. Like, I literally have to go get a shower because I felt like I pissed my shirt. Like, it's soaking wet. And that has to do with all the energy being used in my head of trying to kill myself, that I get sweats all the time because I'm trying to calm down and my brain is working on overload. So my wife asked what are certain trigger points. My psychiatrist or counselors, whoever they are, they all ask the same thing. What do you think your trigger points are, so we can maybe focus on, you know, trying to heal that or whatever. I don't know most of my trigger points. I do know a couple trigger points. And I really think that you guys that are either watching this or listening to this or ignoring it while somebody else is watching, you really need to focus on this. My major trigger point, my top number one trigger point is being fucking ignored. Now, what I mean about that, if I haven't called you in the last 4 months, and all of a sudden you get a phone call from me, it probably doesn't mean that I was thinking about you and I miss you. It probably means I've made 20 other fucking phone calls and nobody's answering my phone call, and I'm praying that you're the one that's going to save my life at that particular moment. Because I'm looking for someone to be there at that particular time. And on occasion, there wasn't nobody answering after calling 20-some people. For example, 13 years ago, I took a whole box of sleeping pills. I walked the train tracks because I knew there was going to be a train coming, because the train came every day at the same exact time. And on this effing day, the train never showed the hell up. So what I did was I drank 32 ounces of antifreeze. Yes, antifreeze. Now let me tell you about antifreeze. Antifreeze tastes okay. Now I'm not a big soda drinker. I really fucking hate Kool-Aid. But it tastes similar to Kool-Aid until you get down to the end of the bottle. And at the end of the bottle, there's these gold flakes that taste like pure freaking rust. That's disgusting. However, the liquid part of antifreeze isn't bad. The problem when you drink antifreeze, medically, is you only have 72 hours to live after you drink it. Yes, 3 whole days. And the reason why is if they don't catch it in time, in those 3 days, it goes straight to your kidneys and they shut down immediately. Now in my case, when I drank the antifreeze, within a 6-hour period, I went back to work. And antifreeze and being the grill guy don't work. The antifreeze started cooking my inside so bad that I was scratching my chest through my shirt until I started bleeding. I don't have fingernails. I was trying to claw my way through my skin to release the heat from my chest. So the police were called, and then the paramedics. When the police showed up, I asked if I can go outside the restaurant and walk around and get some cold air because the heat was just boiling my skin from the inside. Long story short, I wound up in the hospital. I was there for 48 hours, handcuffed. Yes, handcuffed to a bed. There was a nice police officer who sat with me for 24 of the 48 hours. And then I was put on suicide watch in the psych ward. And that was my 4th time being locked up in the psych ward. And that time, I was locked up for 30 days. And that happened in Pittsburgh. Now let me tell you how it is in the psych ward. See, in the psych ward, when you have major depression disorder, and my effects, how it does me, is the people in the psych ward are fucked up in the head. They're like zombies. They give them so much medication that they think their shadow is talking to them. Me, I refused all medical treatment. I refused food, I refused medication, I refused drinks, because I knew that they were going to put medication in my drinks, and their goal was to make you walk around like a zombie. Therefore, you can't harm them or yourself. So, after a couple days of negotiating with them, they told me that there would be no possibility of me leaving unless I ate or drank and took medication. So I took medication, I did what they told me to do, and after 30 days of being evaluated, they sent me on my way. They didn't cure a damn thing. They didn't solve nothing. They didn't even focus on inside my head. They just sent me on my way. So, when I tell you I was locked up inside your room, you get a mattress, or you get a bed that's metal. I didn't, at that time, for the 30 days, I didn't get a mattress, a pad, or anything like that. And you got a blanket, that was very small. It was almost like a blanket that you would use, on your reclining chair. It wasn't a big blanket or anything like that. That way you can't hang yourself with it, I guess. But it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't scary, it just wasn't pleasant. Because I'm not there to hurt anybody else. I'm just there to hurt me. And they wasn't focused on me. They were focused on them and the people I was surrounded with. So that was pointless. So trigger point number one while I was ranting is, if I call you and I haven't called you in months, pick up the phone if you can. I know you might have a work schedule, or you're busy, or just say, text me back, call or pick up the phone and just say, hey, I love to hear from you, but right now I'm busy. Can I call you back in a couple hours? And then call back. Trigger point number two. And when I tell you about trigger points is the boiling point. It's the point where, imagine you're pissed off in traffic and somebody cuts you off and you're at a standstill and you're at the boiling point right now that you just want to get out of your car and kick someone's ass. That's a trigger point. Okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you, is every thought in my head is about killing myself. The trigger points is to where there's no more thought. I'm going to react to kill myself. Okay? Being late is another trigger point of mine. You have to understand number two. Trigger point number two. When you're a boy and you have two parents that pretty much don't give a shit about you, and your mom is a single mom, and your dad is a fucking deadbeat, and your dad communicates with you or through your mother that he wants to take you to a sporting event. It could be a softball game that he played in. It could be a soccer game. I don't even watch soccer anymore because I think it's stupid. But back then, in Pittsburgh, they had indoor soccer, which was pretty cool. Or, just go throw the ball around. And he doesn't show up. You're sitting there, let's just say, for example, he's supposed to pick you up at 1 o'clock. At 12:30, you got your glove in your hand, you got your bat, you're sitting at the door, you're waiting for him. 1 o'clock shows up, bastard didn't show. 1:05, bastard didn't show. 2 o'clock, bastard didn't show. 2:30, bastard didn't show. 3:30, bastard didn't show. 4 o'clock, bastard didn't show. That's trigger point number two. He might have showed up by 5 without an excuse or whatever, probably because he was fucking drunk and playing baseball or softball. That's more important than his kids. Well, his boys, not his girls, because he loves his girls and hates his sons. So that's trigger point number two. And it just doesn't have to deal with him. I've had other people be late for functions or events, or if I'm hosting a party and you're hosting a party that started at 6, and of course everybody thinks that they're special, so they have to come late because they want to be seen by everybody. So everybody has the same thought process, so nobody shows up till 7, and by that time the hot food that I cooked is now cold because you're a prick and you had to be late. So that's trigger point number two. Trigger points, remember, are no longer threats. I take it personally and I react. And when I react, I do stupid shit. I might flip on you verbally, might degrade the hell out of you, calling you names, piece of shit, whatever. But then in the background, those thoughts in my head about killing myself are now going to happen. I know you didn't do it personally, like you, oh, I want this motherfucker to kill himself. But you thought about you and you didn't think about me, and in the process I was thinking about you and not me. So now it becomes physical to me. That could be just making myself bleed. That could be me taking a couple of pills that I shouldn't take. It could be me doing drugs that I shouldn't take. Maybe a couple extra beers. Now, when I say a couple extra beers, people have to realize, yes, I have a goatee. Yes, I'm white trash. Yes, I'm a big guy. But I don't drink alcohol. Okay? Dumbasses. I drink 1 case of beer over a year's period of time. That's it. And usually we buy it for the Super Bowl. And we watch it. And we celebrate and we drink then. And then normally there's half of a case left and we cook with it during the year. But because I haven't followed the NFL in the last 3 years, because the NFL sucks, because they make everything political, I don't drink. Okay? So when you see me drinking, it's to get rid of whatever happened that day that took my thoughts to become physical. The only thing that I drink on a daily basis, probably as much as I breathe, is iced tea without sugar. Unless I'm at work and I like sugar tea. So, that was trigger point number 2. Trigger point number 3 is when somebody fucks with the 6 people in my life. I don't care who they are. I don't care what you say or do. But if you affect them 6 people and I can't put my hand on your throat, I'll put my hand on my throat. So be careful what you say to those 6 people that mean more to me than me living on a daily basis. Remember, I never and will never give a shit about me. Because for 24 hours a day, my brain tells me not to give a shit about me. I care about 6 people every day, all day, and I care about 20 people most of the day, every day. But I promise you, if you're in the top 6 and I find out that someone said something bad about you or fucked with you, I'll take care of your situation real quick. So that's trigger point number 3. Now there's multiple trigger points that I can't really tell you what they are verbally, because it's more of an internal temperature than anything. It could be something as a commercial on TV. I might be sitting in my recliner, calm down for a couple minutes, relaxed, and a commercial comes on, and I couldn't tell you a commercial for example, but I felt it inside, that it actually cooked my insides. Like it made me boil to where I'm drenched in sweat. And then a couple minutes later, when that stupid commercial's gone, I'm fine. Those are examples of trigger points for major depression disorder. For me. I can't speak for anybody else because I'm not them. But being diagnosed with major depression disorder for about 20 years or so, and I know, like I said, I was 10 the first time. and I'm 47, so that's 37 years ago that there was an issue within my head. But I just want you guys to know that if you know anybody who has it, sit down and talk to them and just ask, you know, is there any warning signs? My warning signs are sweat when I shouldn't be sweating. You know, if you're in a damn cooler of a restaurant and all of a sudden, you know, a cooler is below 38 degrees and you're pouring sweat out of your ass, pretty much that's a trigger point. Whatever just happened pissed you off so much that your insides are boiling and the thoughts in your head are now becoming physical to yourself. Talk to them. Ask them, can I help you? Are you okay? Do you need a hug? And I'm a big guy. I love giving hugs to people that I know that are upset. Sometimes I need them. Other symptoms that I have is when I should be happy, sometimes I'm crying. When I should be upset, I'm laughing. I don't know why. I told you I'm mentally fucked up. But just wanted to give you guys some ideas of what goes on in my head and how the barbecue works for me. Is it calms me down, it keeps me focused, keeps me happy, physically and sometimes mentally, you know. The lifestyle of doing competitions and events is so soothing. It's crazy. It's stressful to set up. It's stressful at the moment of competition, but before and after, it's so much fun. The family that you seek yourself with, the people you hang out with, are all good people. You know, one day I'm gonna do a video of the sauces and seasonings and dry rubs and hot sauces. I'm talking hot sauces that I've come across. They're phenomenal people, and those people might not even know it, but they saved my life as well. You know, every once in a while, just being there. So I hope I wasn't too serious to scare you, but not too happy or weird that you didn't take it serious enough. Just want you guys to understand that every day, imagine every day taking a needle and just poking yourself 24 hours a day. Imagine how you would feel. That's physical. Now imagine the thought in your head of the pain that causes over 30 years. That's me. And I want you guys to know that I want to cry. There's tears in my eye. It's tough. It really is. It's tough being diagnosed with this disorder. It hurts. But I wish I didn't wake up every day. I count the days. You know, I told you before that I know I'm not going to live past 50, so I'm counting down the days now. Liz doesn't like it, but it eases me a little bit knowing that, you know, I have less than 3 years. And I want you guys to understand that those of you that are in my circle, if your number is on my phone, if you're on my Facebook page, I love you. I really do. And for the most part, I know you guys love me. And that's well appreciated. Thank you. God bless.